game time? What time is it? Game time. That's the time. Game time, not to be confused with Showtime. Showtime, the German player. Game time is an American player. Both very strong in the scene in general right now. So it is the times. The times they are changing into the game times and the show times. We do have spawning in the bottom left. The winner of that last match. This is a best of 3. If he wins this, he'll move on into the winner's match. It is Foxtrot. Oh God, CEO Panda Bear Me. Man, see, so when I was introducing this player last time, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna think of a clever sort of acronym for FCEO for next time that's not, you know, future CEO. And I didn't think about it long enough. And usually I can come up with that stuff on the spot. And I just like crashed and burned there, guys.
And his opponent spawning in the top right, we have our yellow Zerg. It's game time.
Panda Bear Me opting for the front base. Game time opting for the back base. I'm going to put a little bit of advantage for Panda Bear Me because both of them opening up for identical builds for the most part. A little bit faster gas here for Panda Bear Me. And I think actually that's just a timing mistake. It's not even to squeeze out extra drones. That was just a little bit of a time mistake there for game time. But pretty good to take this front base here when you're both opening for the same builds because the aggression is going to come down around the third base timing, not the when the natural is vulnerable.
But yeah, it just looks like normal, pretty similar build from both players. It's still kind of early to tell what they'll be doing, but for now, nothing too intense like we saw in the last game.
Yep. Hatch gas pool. Both of them taking interesting positioning on the spawning pool here, going for the back of the minerals. Generally, that's a position you see for Zerg vs. Protoss and Zerg vs. Terran, so it might be just something that slipped the mind, or they might feel they don't need that position of the queen between the spawning pool and the hatchery. A couple of lings coming out. Heavier ling count slightly for game time. That's going to put an advantage for Panda Bear Me, squeezing out an additional drone and the earlier Baneling Nest as well. It seems just in general that Panda Bear Me is a little bit more on top of things. You can see game time with that little bit later gas, not getting the Baneling Nest right at 50 gas. The speed is going to be a little bit later. Yeah, so you can see in StarCraft in general, it's just so important to remain vigilant, even in the very beginning parts of the game. Nice Ling micro here, very adorable from Panda Bear Me. And game time just not microing at all. And that's really one of the most abusable situations, especially in Ling versus Ling, if your opponent's not doing anything. Oh, look at this. Look at the micro. It's so... Even gets the drone. You get a drone kill.
Nice job there from
Slow
Panda
this down.
Bear Me.
And there are no lings. Yeah, game time doesn't want to build any lings to have to get this third up. And this is exactly what we were talking about before. Imagine had he taken the third base, the natural in the front, it would be so easy for him to take this third base right now. But Panda Bear Me with a stronger strategy here, getting little edges here and there, kind of all over the place. But will it be enough as we see the Roach Horn and Lair getting dropped for game time?
Panda Bear Me, though, moving across the map with his speedlings. They will get over here soon, however, it's like
that could be really bad. Oh my god, that Baneling! Oh my god! Oh my god. That's one. Oh, you take a huge risk fighting around a morphing Baneling, especially if you don't know when it started. But in that case, Panda Bear Me had an overlord in position, knew exactly when that Baneling spawned, but played sloppy, was not paying attention to the timing that Baneling would finish, and didn't pull out in time. And as we all know, not pulling out in time can be very, very bad.
That can. We do have 5 roaches on the way for game time. And we do actually have the layer finished now. Wouldn't surprise me to see roach speed in production here soon.
Yep.
Panda Bear Me just now getting his roach war, and these roaches will really help game time establish this third base. Panda Bear Me probably wants to be very careful when engaging into this army.
Well, especially that one Baneling. Had that one Baneling not been there, he might have been just pounce on that and surround it and try to get damage done. But it's so scary to do without that Baneling around. And he is going to look at this. We're reaching this moment here where Game Time does get the tech advantage, like we were seeing last time, Panda Bear with the muted tech advantage. This time Game Time with the earlier roaches, it means he can have a bigger roach count, and he gets to control this this area of the map. Panda Bear does still have in major part the mobility advantage with this pack of lings, but we're moving nicely into the mid-game ZVZ. This is going to be a roach versus roach variation.
It's like Panda Bear Me a little bit later on that layer. Game Time will have his roach speed out quicker. Do you think that Game Time will start to move across once it is finished?
It's definitely a possibility. It will be a strong moment. The layer is way behind for Panda Bear Me. However, in all, we do have a a drone lead for Panda Bear Me. So I feel like this is looking pretty good for Panda Bear Me if he can hold here long term. Going with that when that speed finishes should be strong, especially morphing in these Banelings. The Banelings are going to take care of any lings, and then if it's just Roach versus Roach, I think Game Time has the advantage here. Nice arc setup on the ramp though. Ooh, catching a group a little bit out of position there. Banelings coming in. Not good trades, or actually for either player at this point, but oh, these lings are pretty important part of this attack. We don't have very many defensive Banelings left for Panda Bear Me, and he needs to have them in position. Game Time coming through here. He might have hit the magic moment. Oh my god, Panda Bear Me, oh no. He was going muta. Caught him when he was going muta.
Yeah. And that's almost what happened last time, except Game Time really pounced on this moment. In fact, there were only 30 workers there for Game Time. I wonder if he was really just planning on an all-in there.
Well, yeah, it's this super aggressive play, right? So when you're going for long-term advantages, it's really dangerous to go for multiple at the same time. And you had Panda Bear Me there, drone up a lot heavier than his opponent, and going into more gas-heavy tech, going into the Muleless tech. And doing both those things at the same time can be very dangerous, and it made him vulnerable if Game Time decided to be aggressive, and he did there. So
yeah,
it's hard to tell whether it was sort of an issue with scouting there, or if it was more just an issue of just being a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, that could have been, you know, I have a feeling that Panda Bear Me maybe knew that attack was coming. Maybe he was just, maybe as you said, maybe just a bit greedy.
Yep. And that rounds us up evenly now. Laralac goes to Panda Bear Me, and followed up by Dusk Towers going to Game Time. We're going to now our third map, which will be Ruins of Saros. Very cool map. Very large map, the largest map in the map pool at the moment. One of the largest maps in the history of StarCraft 2 in terms of rush distance in the longest positions. And we're gonna have to see how this works out. Whenever you go into the big maps, you get that intuitive, counterintuitive. The intuitive move, play greedy. The counterintuitive move, play aggressive, because your opponent is going to do what's intuitive. So a little bit of mind games happen. And also we have the 4-player map issue, which you don't know if you're going to be able to scout first if you drone scout. It's a bit tricky.
Right, and even sometimes on Ruins of Saros, you can spawn a little bit close to each other. You know, you can have horizontal spawn positions.
Yep. Or even vertical, which is going to incentivize a little bit more Mutalisk play.
Looks like we have
a cross here.
Hawkeye versus Game Time, actually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So Hawkeye is a very strong Zerg player, as we all know. He'll be substituting in here. It looks like for Panda Bear Me. Bold strategy, going for the 12 drone rush. Was of course popularized back in the day when Naniwa probe rushed Nest T in a GSL game long ago. And if we look at the score screen, we'd see the APM of Game Time about 194. Hawkeye with an APM of 11. So slight disparity there. It's gonna make it difficult for Hawkeye to really keep up. Having that massive APM disadvantage. StarCraft isn't a game all about APM, but it is important when we're talking about 11 to 194.
Yeah, it's, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, It's one of those. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
It's like boxing. Out of your weight class. Maybe you are a 6-year-old child and you're going to box the heavyweight champion of the world. It's kind of a similar dynamic there. 11 versus 194 APM. So it turns out we are gonna have a rematch here after the ABM debacle. Team Panda Bear Me has decided, no, I think Panda Bear Me should play the match. It is a nice move. Definitely think
Yeah.
probably it'll produce, I think, a closer match. I think.
But here we go, loading into the game now. As you said, Ruins of Ceres very large. However, it's pretty common still to see early pools.
Absolutely. It's one of those things. The natural